Yeah, you caught me there. I was trying to check out one of the things that people are saying about our conversations, the last few conversations we've had. We just talked about Lofty Heights, and they're bringing entrepreneurs and what's the other thing? Professionals,
Yeah.
young entrepreneurs and professionals. Well, our artist of the week today is a young,
A
I
young
call him young.
professional.
He's not young anymore. Anyway, he's a professional.
Well, I don't see no grey hair
He's
there.
over 40 and they've already shown him. See him? Very black. He's a film director, producer, and a writer. Trained at the New York Film Academy and Universal Studios, Los Angeles. He's a writer and producer of one of the most interesting soaps on TV lately, Sons of the Caliphate, TV series that tells the story of a northern political drama. And others to his credit include Drawing Strength, quite interesting one then, and Halita, which is on the digital satellite television. And he's here with us today. Mr. Atia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for this honor.
You didn't go out to study movie production?
No, I actually started off studying urban and regional planning.
Thank you very much.
Yep, it's a course in the Polytechnic curriculum. So pretty much the people who are supposed to make sure that our cities are well planned. They're not architects. They're people who. So when you start urban and regional planning, yes, they're really town planners. Pretty much making sure that the grid is right, the landscapes where you live, all the green areas.
So how much town planning have you seen?
None. I can't remember what the curriculum or the topics were in school. I can't remember anything about that.
So you finished that and then you threw it away?
Well, yeah, I finished that and then I was actually at home one time and a very good friend of my mom's came to visit and she said, oh, there's this school of journalism that just opened in Jos. She was the head of the institution and she said, yeah, if you're interested, come over and, So I just walked in one day, I got admitted without even trying, and entered my first radio production class. And it was a Hausa Fulani man that was a teacher, Mr. Awal. I remember him very well. And he caught my attention instantly because he was so brilliant. First day in class, I loved radio production. And that's how my interest in the arts started. I started realizing that there were things I could do, produce radio shows. And then we started producing radio shows for campus. It was a very small campus. We had speakers outside. And then we just put music together, jingles and all. And that's how it started. Then I heard of the film, the Nigerian Film Institute, Nigerian Film School in Jos. And then I went there and we're just about to admit people. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got admitted.
You were just happening onto these things.
Absolutely, honestly. It was just the stars were lining up for me because things were just dragging me towards the thing. And, I went to the film school in Jos and that's how I realized that, okay, there's something there. You can actually do this and started putting my effort into it.
So you didn't think about the being in it. You chose to be on the outside of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was good looking enough to be in front of a camera. That's how I see it.
You don't think good looks has anything to do?
No, it does. In these days, yeah. Eye candies, we call them eye candies. Apart from the craft is important. But really, it also, because a lot of your viewers actually live a fantasy life. They want to see the world that you project out there. They want to go into that world. So as much as possible, you want to let them, you don't want to give them their regular lives. You want to show them something that they can aspire or want to be. So being an eye candy, but for me, it was really more, instantly, I was drawn to the behind the scene of filmmaking and television because I can call myself a very creative person. That I know, So it was instant.
After going to study urban planning.
Well, I mean, it was
suddenly became creative.
Well, yeah, and then I just realized that I had this thing, just that I was actually wasting my time reading over. But even urban and regional planning requires some level of creativity for you to design and landscaping and all.
Design a city.
Absolutely, yeah.
New towns.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with that Sons of the Caliphate.
Yep.
Was it a fantasy you created there? Because you talk about giving people their fantasies. Was that a fantasy you created there?
Well, so the first thing that happened with Sons of a Caliphate was that I just got back from the New York Film Academy, and my wife and I were having this conversation. All of us were like, oh, no, TV is boring. Can we do something different? And we just started thinking, what can we do?
Okay, your wife is part of your team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We run a production company together called Innovative Television Content, and we run a Christian ministry together called Entertainment Through Christ. So we're partners in this, So we started having this conversation about what can we do that is different, that nobody has thought of, of recent. And suddenly the idea of a political drama set in northern Nigeria, because whether you like it or not, a lot of the political dramas, political whatever, really you find them in northern Nigeria. They are very peculiar with their politics. It is very interesting, and it is, there's something strong about it. And that's how we started doing the back and forth about it, and Sons of the Caliphate was born. Instantly, we now sent a mail to, I don't know if it's okay to mention names, to Mo Abudu. In 10 minutes, she had replied us saying, I like this idea. Let's go ahead and do this. So pretty much what you see on Sons of the Caliphate is the reality of northern Nigeria. Just that for a long time, people hadn't seen northern Nigeria on mainstream television the way Sons of the Caliphate projected it. Because a lot of times, it is Musa at the gate with a very funny accent, or he's the one that is driving an Okada or something. But to see very aristocratic northern families speaking quaint English, impeccable English, and being people,
and also speaking their language, because they were still bringing the language,
with a bit of Hausa in it and everything. It just was something that a lot of people hadn't seen in a long time. It was fresh. It was different. It pulled a lot of people to have a different perspective about northern Nigeria. That's why it was such a hit.
But it wasn't just the political side of it that you showed.
Oh no, it wasn't.
The culture was also very rich.
Absolutely. We make sure, so there's something rich about northern culture that a lot of people, even the northern Nigerian setup, don't even project it the way it should. There is something about the fashion and style. There's something about their architecture, the aesthetics of their interior. There's something about, a lot of people don't understand. A typical Hausa man values his cap more than anything that you can imagine. That's in terms of style and fashion. A typical northern man would pay ₦1 million for a well-woven cap. Yes, that people don't understand that it can be that expensive, and so we figured if you put all of those elements together in a television content, it was a new frontier for a lot of people, So it opened up northern Nigeria in a different way. And don't forget that Sons of Caliphate started at a time when the Boko Haram thing was so huge, and people had the stereotype about northern Nigeria being backward people. They're fighting, killing each other every day. And so it was a new perspective, it was a new frontier, it was a new world to see that, these people can actually love, like they love their wives, they have conversation with their wives, they talk politics, they are normal people, they eat like normal people. And so it was different, yeah. So that pretty much was what sold Sons of a Caliphate and made it, work.
Yeah, that's one of the clips on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those are the three main guys in Diko Loko, Khalifa Miyaki, and Nuhu Bula, played by Mofe Duncan, Yakubu Mohammed, and Paul Sambo. Amazing actors.
But apparently it appears they were all unknown per se.
Oh, yeah.
It appears they were...
Well, to be honest, most of them were actors in their own, level. But on a national scale, on a TV show, it was the first time a lot of people were seeing them. Paul Sambo. Yakubu Mohammed is huge in northern Nigeria, but of course to a fan base that is restricted to northern Nigeria, even though he had started crossing over to mainstream Nollywood. Mofe Duncan was there, but then Sons of the Caliphate was almost like a proof, on a national scale. And so people were open to, till today, a lot of people don't believe that Mofe Duncan is not northern. They believe he's from, I remember he told me something about...
Shekiri.
Yes, he's Shekiri. I remember he told me something about a couple in Bauchi that called him and wanted to invite him to MC their wedding. And when he told them he couldn't speak Hausa, they couldn't believe it. Like, no. So yeah, and the thing about us in our production company is that we love to work with fresh faces, new perspective in terms of actors, because there are a lot of actors in this country. You just have to search. Indeed. All producers need to do is take their time and search. Yeah. You will find them. And if you check almost all the productions that we've done, a lot of the times we work with very new faces, but people who really understand the craft, people who can deliver. And so we always take our time to make sure that when we're doing auditions, we do it in a way that we actually get people who deserve to be on screen and people who can translate these characters very well.
I noticed
you're also a photographer.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us about that. How did you get into photography?
Hustle. It was hustling. My wife and I lived in Lagos for 4 or 5 years. And at that time, it was just to get something doing before all of this started,
Came
you know.
together.
And so I went into wedding photography. I did a lot of wedding photography. A
That
lot of
level
people-
of photography.
yeah.
That's not playing, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did photography, and then I got hired at Conga.com to be the first in-house photographer, head of photography department there, and I
Well,
worked
of
there
course,
for.
of course, it's your brother.
No, but at this I didn't even know him. I'd never met him till today. I've never met him. I was just hired because they needed a photographer. I was good at what I do, and by the way, Adekunle Gold, the superstar musician, he worked with me as the photo editor at that time. Yeah, yeah. So I did my own share of photography to survive, just to put food on the table, though. But it was fun. I
Are you
loved
still doing it?
Well, not really, because it's really TV and film production is time consuming. I just do it once in a while, just for the fun, but not really on a commercial scale.
Anymore.
Yeah. No.
So in that photography, you did something at the National Theatre, London.
Oh, yes. So I got a call one day. I can't remember who called me up. It was a British Council. They had, there was a producer in the London Theatre that wanted to do a stage play called, just skip my head right now. But then there was a stage play about a ruthless African leader. I had to do with politics and
Idi
all.
Amin.
Yes. And so they needed backdrops. So they needed backdrops for the stage, like African backdrops, sceneries and all. And so when they got to the British Council, I said, we're looking for somebody in Nigeria who can do that. They're like, oh, yeah, we know somebody who is very good. And they called me up. And I came to see them at the British Council here. And I was offered the job. And I had to go around Nigeria because they had specific brief for what they were looking for. It had to be a little bit colonial, so I had to travel to find locations that looked like 1960 something, and that's how I did the filming, the photograph, those things, and I sent to them, and that was what was used for the backdrop for the stage play and I got my credits. So I was surprised when I checked the website and my name was there as photographer, location photographer. I was like, this is cool, I can always put this in my CV.
So when you get this credit, how do you feel when you see these credits against?
Oh, it's
different
amazing.
projects?
I mean, to have done a job that featured in the London Theatre, London Arts Theatre, it's something to be proud of. I don't talk about it that much, but it's
I
there.
can see your head almost bursting.
Oh, absolutely, my afro. No, it's really something to be proud because it was out of nowhere. At some point I felt like I didn't even deserve it, but because I had I was networking with the British Council at that time, so it was easy for them to recommend, and I got the job.
Okay, but again, let's come back to your production here.
Yeah.
So you've done Sons of the Caliphate. Told us that was like for you an opening.
Yeah, it was
a starting
a major
point.
opening.
What else have you done after that?
So after Sons of the Caliphate, we now got commissioned.
First of all,
It's still
how?
running, isn't it?
Well, the
rested?
third season is actually in the works.
Okay.
It's been 2 seasons, but we're actually currently in the works for the 3rd season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how challenging was it?
What, the filming? Oh,
Production and everything, filming and all of that.
so the first challenge that we had was trying to maneuver the stereotypes. So for example, the truth is that the northern people are very sensitive about religion and they're very sensitive about culture and how you represent it. And so it was very important that, because I'm pretty much a northern. I grew up all my life. I'm from Nasarawa, so I grew up my life in Jos. So I really understand the culture. So, but when we were trying to work on the show, we had to consult and we had to bring in a cultural and a religious consultant into the writer's room, Abdullah Menkanu.
Okay, hold your thoughts.
Okay.
We'll take a moment. We'll come back to Tajiri's. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. So, Dimbo, you were talking about the challenge you had dealing with religious and cultural biases.
Absolutely. And so we wanted to be very careful how we maneuvered these sensitive areas. And so, like I said, we hired a consultant who was in the writer's room with us. And the idea is simply to say, okay, so if we're discussing the stories and somebody came up with an idea, he's like, the tradition does not allow that you go in front of the king and you sit in a chair. You have to sit on the ground or something. And then, religion, if you do this, it's going to be sensitive. They're going to. So we were very careful how we maneuvered the landmines and all. And so when we shot Sons of the Caliphate, we stayed away from religion. We didn't portray that because we couldn't understand it the way they do. And so you find out that nobody uses any Quranic recitations or call the name of Allah or anything. It's purely the story behind these characters. But then the cultural aspect of it, we knew we needed to represent it well. So the costuming, the recce for location, making sure that the interior felt like it was Northern Nigeria. Contemporary, but yet had the little thing about it. So we kept that, and that was the thing that actually caught the attention of most of the people who worked from Northern Nigeria. So that was the first challenge in making sure that happened. But then, of course, the normal production challenge that everybody finds in this country, generator noise. You can't go to a location and there's no generator problem somewhere. So you're dealing with sound wahala. It was 11 weeks of filming. This is our first time we were filming for that long. So it was draining. It was, and pretty much all the challenges that you get daily when you go for production. But at the end of the day, it was really worth it because when people started talking about it and they started saying, "Oh, it was so fantastic," it was really
rave reviews, as they say.
Absolutely, it was. So pretty much those were the challenges that we had, or those were the issues that we had with filming Sons of the Caliphate. I mean, our executive producer was so nice in allowing us the free hand to do what we needed, and she trusted us so much that it's easy for her to just say, go ahead and just do what you need to do, and we delivered, and we didn't disappoint.
Okay, beyond Sons of the Caliphate, we're watching a clip there from Halita.
Yes, that's Halita, commissioned by MultiChoice, African Magic.
Was that easier to handle?
No, that was difficult because that was 5 months or 6 months of filming. It's a daily show, so it's about 100 and something episodes, and that was something else. It was crazy. But we took on the challenge. We knew the first time that we got commissioned, we told ourselves, both cast and crew. And if you notice, you were talking about fresh faces. 99.9% of the people on this show were actually new people, like people we literally met during the audition. We didn't know them from anywhere. They just walked into the audition. Everybody in that show auditioned for a role. And they walked in. Of course, I worked with Umi Baba Ahmed in Sons of the Caliphate, but she had to audition for the character. It had to be done that way. We insisted so that we could actually make sure that everybody else in the show was cast right. And so, if you notice, like all of them were new faces, and they were so good that it felt real. Like the people saw them until today. They walk around. People call them Halita, King, Dosha. With their character names. So yeah. But it was hard because it was almost 6 months of filming on location every day. You come in every day. You're filming, and you had to, But it was fun at the same time because we had ourselves for 6 months. Every day we looked forward to coming to work. Of course, there were days that it dragged, but it was amazing. And the thing was that we got a lot of support from Network because they knew we were doing it for the first time. So we had people who were advising us on what to do, And so when we took on the second season that just started, it was easy for us to roll because we're already used to it. And the good thing is that it was an opportunity for a lot of young people from, that part of Nigeria, not central, northern Nigeria, to be part of a production like that, because it's never been done before in Abuja. This was the first time they were moving a production of that magnitude to Abuja, trusting a very young company like us and, trusting all of us.
And then from there you went to Drawing Strength.
Oh, no, Drawing Strength was even in 2015, before we got commissioned to even do Halita. Sorry, 2017. Drawing Strength was a commission that we got from God. Like I said, we run a ministry called Entertainment Through Christ. And it was very clear in the commission from God what we needed to do with that. There are a lot of contents that people watch and we thought that they were not, good enough in terms of spiritually uplifting. So we started the idea of filming Drawing Strength, which was a very contemporary story with good pictures, good storyline, but spiritually uplifting that can connect to young people from 18 to 45, and that's how Drawing Strength was birthed, and that's where we are today.
So what are you working on now?
Oh, we're working on our next feature film, hopefully to film in April. It's also faith-based, but also targeted at young contemporary Nigerians. All the Malians out there, we're trying to reach them.
And all the talents are here in country.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody is in country. We've already started casting. We've already started writing. Everybody in Nigeria here.
Thank you so much, Dimbo Atia.
Thank you
very much. If you had a
much.
word in 10 seconds, what would you tell Nigerians out there?
we're an amazing set
That's
of
your
people.
camera.
Oh, okay, that's my camera. We're an amazing set of people. We're beautiful. And if only we put our heads together, we'll definitely make this country work. It has so much potential. Just do what you need to do, and that's it.
Thank you, Dimbo.
Thank you very much.
And so that's Sunrise for this day. We should be with you next Saturday, God being our strength, bringing you a fresh edition. I'm Alera Edu, wishing you a very happy weekend indeed.
And I'm Neo Tagwe. Have yourself a beautiful day.